Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Are growing out, and the only way the roots grow out every single day and they grow stronger and they grow better is if that we all water.
What? I'm out, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new Monday night here on the AAT Sports Network and AAT Birds. I am Chip at Chip for the Birds, joined by JD _Oracle, all the way there from South Carolina. I'm from my living room because our house is being repaired. We all in kinds of different places. We are a traveling show. For sure. Listen, we got weather happening. I want to get right into it because I don't know how long we're going to be able to go for. We may get blacked out pretty soon. But JD, I missed you last week, buddy.
Yeah, man. I loved you guys let me come on at the end, man. It was dope.
Dude, it's our show. Of course I'll let you come on. It's our show.
But you got a really good replacement. I mean, listen, like, you know, when you got a good replacement like that, you don't worry about missing days sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a great substitute teacher. You know, you don't mind missing days sometimes. So shout out to my man for looking out.
Don Conway.
Don Con.
NHL Teacher of the Year, reigning. So listen, we're live on a Monday night. I have to say that because when I am live on a Monday night during a Philadelphia sports event, they tend to do well. From my delayed view, currently they're holding a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter. So we're going to see if that holds true. But as always, get your comments in. Facebook, Twitter. Twitter doesn't allow comments, so YouTube, get those comments in. Quick shout out to the sponsors, and then we'll get popping all up in there. So sponsors, of course, are Statement Games, a fun, free twist on fantasy sports. Link in the bio. The AATSportsNetwork.com/shop. There are going to be some new designs coming up real soon, so check that out. We got Symbol, the stock market for sports. Use the code AATSports when you sign up. Lots of Rain luxury watches. Use the code AATBirds to check out for 10% off. Triple Threat Bets at triplethreatwagers.com. Funkbrewing.com, and, of course, Manscaped.com. Use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout.
Your polls will thank you.
I had to get deep out of frame for that.
We're out of control.
We're out of control. All right. Let's get into it because we're watching a Sixers game right now. Or I should say I'm watching the Sixers game right now.
Yeah,
and one of the things – I'm sorry. You went to South Carolina, brother, man. One of the things that we talked about 2 weeks ago is the idea of this team needing all of their stars to play in order to be successful. We also talked about last week the idea that there was a no-brainer that they were going to add DeAndre Jordan to fill the Andre Drummond void. Right? 2 weeks ago, I said I fully expected Joel Embiid to miss a couple games in this 10-game stretch. And you said, absolutely not going to happen. They need him to win the MVP. He's got to play all these games.
Yes.
James Harden missed a game against the Miami Heat. And damn, did the Sixers look different.
Oh, yeah. They did. And to be honest, I like that I was right, but I hated that I was right at the same time because you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted them both to play. I didn't want it to be a situation where Joel's, you know, having to be out with back soreness or whatever, and they're watching him, holding him, but I know that he needed to get it because how can I say this? They needed this to happen because Joel is such a person that you needed to see the value in Harden. For a lot of people who don't see the value in Harden, that's the situation.
Who at this point doesn't still see the value in Harden?
I don't know. There's just some people who will try to make light of the situation and things of that nature. And that's what really happens. I don't know. I got to stop for a second, dude. Furman just lost to UT Chattanooga on a last-minute shot, and it's throwing me off. And Furman is the team back in South Carolina that was trying to make the tournament. But back to what I was saying. If you didn't think that Harden mattered, you know now because they look like a completely different team. Harden makes everybody better. The game before that, I think Tyrese Maxey had 33 and took over the
He
game.
did. He dropped 33. It was insane. That was the best I've seen him play. And you've seen him blossoming by having that key piece around him.
It's wild. It's wild. It's
Now,
wild.
I think that this. Barrera said he took Chattanooga -1. He hit the push. Barrera's time is coming up very quickly. Real quick, don't forget that the AAT Birds runs their tournament pick'em. So hit us up for a little tournament love up in here coming up in March.
UT Chat should have won this game. So shout out to him. UT Chat just hit a jump shot from the Ingle sign by half court, dude. They should not have won that game. That was Furman's game to win. You know what? I'm pissed.
All right. Well, but he's also saying, though, that how can this team not blow out a Bulls team that's missing 3 key players tonight? The big thing is, though, you still have DeMar DeRozan playing. You still have Zach LaVine playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because Alex Caruso's not playing, it's not. This is still a top tier team in the East. So it's supposed to be a fight. What really was shocking to me, and no, Matt, Tila cannot pick your bracket this year. She's got to pick her own damn bracket and beat all of our asses again.
Am I involved in this? Because I would love
Yes,
to.
You are going to be.
Just making sure
we'll get you set up. Don't worry. We'll get you set up. But here's what bugs me, right? It wasn't so much that they lost without Harden. It's that they looked pathetic without Harden. This is a team that has not been held under 100 points
since James Harden.
Since February 4th. Since James Harden started actively playing, 133, 125, 123, 125, 82. That's a scary statistic.
Oh, yeah. But that he makes that much of a difference? Oh, yeah. But it's also a caveat that where he says, he has to play for them to win, too. Because the way that they're, now, the way they've, kind of set themselves up, he's an integral part of the offense. And, they run the offense through him. He makes the game so much even though, yes, they run the offense through him, but they're still learning how to run the offense with him. A lot of what he's been doing to start is a lot of just him knowing the game of basketball. It's not really intertwined in the offense. But at the same time, I don't think that Doc Rivers has a good offense. I don't think he's got – I think he puts players on the court. Hopefully they score some points, and then he gets to hold a title. Very true. And I'm not going to argue with you about that. And I think what you're saying is very, very key, because when it really comes to Harden and what Harden can really do, it puts everybody in a position where they're saying to themselves, if Harden is the facilitator and he's making sure that everybody's getting the ball distributed, and Maxey's still a young talent who is also benefiting from Harden, you really can't not have Harden and expect Maxey to really succeed, because you'd be in no better situation than you were in last year. But with a Harden that can facilitate, and a Maxey who reaps the benefits of that, you get to see a very energized team. This team can run around and score at a very high clip because James Harden allows them to do that, because he controls the offense, even if it is a shitty offense that Doc is running. It is, and the rotations are just terrible. Right now, and we know that the bench shortens as you get closer to the playoffs. Yes. Right. And once the playoffs happen, it shortens. But George Niang is playing a shit ton of minutes. That is true. And he's doing what he needs to do. They're quality minutes. But then again, you look at a game like you just had where you played without your star player, and your other max contract player, Tobias Harris, only scored 16 points. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, listen, you're preaching to the choir about Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been a sore in everybody's side for quite some time. And I think because of that, you're getting now to see how valuable James Harden is, because even in those games where Tobias Harris doesn't play worth a shit, you don't even realize he's not there until you look at the stat line and say, oh, well, he didn't score tonight. You know what I'm saying? James Harden covers a lot of iniquities with these guys. And it's a great sign for the playoffs that he can. It's kind of like hard also at the same time because you don't know if he's going to be able to do this every game of the playoffs because he's not really been that consistent in the playoffs. So hopefully he continues it on and Joel plays at a very high clip and Maxey doesn't stop and we get the same Maxey that we got last year in the playoffs. Because that version of Maxey.
That Maxey was great because we needed someone to step up there.
Yeah, so hopefully if that can happen, then then we won't be having this conversation again.
And Matt's saying here, he doesn't think the bench shortens under Doc. I think it does because we've seen it before, but it shortens not because it's necessarily the right call. It shortens because, well, that's just what you're supposed to do. Like Doc Rivers, I think is just so scripted. He's not an innovative coach in any way.
That's very true.
I'm just not. I've never really been impressed with what Doc Rivers brings from a coaching perspective. I think that he's always surrounded himself with high caliber talent. So he's, one of the 15 greatest coaches in NBA history, not because necessarily he's one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, but because he's been around some of the greatest talent in NBA history. And those guys win.
This is true. I mean, I don't see any lies that you're saying here. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not going to hear from me this great, theme of him just being the guy who makes the best decisions. My only caveat to that is, in the meantime, even though Doc isn't making the best decisions, he also is he's made himself almost like a novelty, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Because, you got some guy, people saying that he's won championships, he's been that guy for so long, or he's won a championship and that's what's made him that guy. But in most cases, he's been more likely to throw away a 3-1 series and lose the tourney before anything. So I don't know, man. It puts him in a really weird scenario as far as that, because I mean it does. It makes him look kind of bad to know that he's not able to take care of business in the playoffs.
Right. And Embiid right now he's at 40-11, just so you know.
Damn.
Which is the opposite, like Mike is saying, of Tobias being the most frustrating fourth quarter option in the history of the planet.
Yeah.
As he currently has 8 points.
Listen, guys, this is something for all the Sixers fans. If you're like me and you're tired of him too, we're all tired of him. I think all of us have reached our wits end with Tobias Harris. The only problem is that we can't unload him from him. We can't unload him because we're so heavy down on this contract, and he really put us in a messed up situation, which at the end of the day, it's a little bit of that is us overpaying for him, and some of it is, you know what I'm saying? So he's not really all to be blamed, because if they're going to pay him the bag, I mean, he's going to take it. But I mean, did he really deserve it? Probably not. And I think
absolutely not.
But now we're going to reap the benefits of him not deserving something that we're giving him. So I mean, I don't know, man. I try to be as lenient as on the thought process when it comes to him, but I don't know if I can anymore.
I try to be impartial. I really do. But the fact of the matter is that he just is not doing what he needs to do. He hasn't done what he needs to do for a season and a half now.
That's very true.
Essential that we had to go out and get a James Harden.
Yeah, we should have never been in that position with him because we had already had him. He should have been that person that could have.
That's what I'm saying.
That should have covered the iniquity of not having Ben Simmons. But instead, we end up getting into a situation where he not only didn't help, he might have made it worse in some of the senses because he couldn't do any of the stuff. So then the imperfections that Ben had came out even more because then we had two players who couldn't pull their own weight. It's just a lot, man. It's really hard to even think that, this is a guy we're paying X amount of money to because he's not playing well. This isn't good. I can tell you that.
And it's gonna lead to being the Achilles heel as you start to get against some of these teams that have these dominant players. Real quick, news has come out. We knew it was true. We knew it was the case. But Ben Simmons is not going to play on March 10th against the Sixers.
Right.
No kidding. However,
he's going to be on the bench.
According to Shams, he's going to be on the bench. Do you think he's going to be on the bench?
Yeah, I think honestly, and it's going to give everybody what the fuck they want. It's going to give everybody what they want. They just want to see him. They want to boo him. They want to do whatever they can do to like feel some type of way about Ben. It's not going to make you feel better. I can assure you. Even if you get to boo this dude, he's giving you. You want to boo him during the game, but what Ben is doing is way more excruciating for fans because you're going to get the boo, but you can't really boo him that much if he's not actually playing the game. You can't boo him every time he touches the ball. So when are you going to boo him? You're going to boo him when he stands up during timeouts. That's not going to affect the game. So in a theory, it's a great move by Ben because you're not going to be able to take away. You're not going to be able to be a distraction during the game, especially for your own team. Maybe
all game long. I want to hear it literally all game long.
And they may, but it won't distract the team. And I think that's what people about. Everybody wants them to. They want Ben to be a distraction to the Nets. Well, the Nets are saying
he already is. He already is a distraction, and they're showing these pictures with him with his back brace. How can your back be hurt? You have not played in a year.
I don't think, you know what, I would say that he would be a distraction, but I think the Nets are using him as a bit of a distraction on what they actually got going on. There is some turmoil over there. And he takes away a lot of the stuff. What's up, Chris? And
Chris is saying, yo, and the Ben Simmons is a big old crybaby.
He is a crybaby. But my thing is, y'all want to tell him that he's a crybaby, and he doesn't give a shit that you have to tell him that. All he's going to do is show up. You're going to yell at him, maybe throw some shit at him. Those people are going to get kicked out of the game. And they're going to go out here, and it's going to be such a distraction for the Sixers that the Sixers might not play great. And that's what you don't want as a Sixer fan. You don't want him to be such a distraction from the game that the Sixers can't get into a flow and do their thing and cook. Because there's a bigger war that's happening out there if you're watching the game. The bigger war is between James Harden and Kyrie Irving, and KD and Kyrie Irving. Like there's a bigger war.
That's not being talked about enough. The flip side that James Harden wanted so desperately out of Brooklyn.
And they've been talking trash back and forth. If you've been watching it, he's been playing back and forth. He's not playing former team. Am I making sense in it? I'm making sense.
What's that?
Chris put up a thing that says he's not.
He is not playing his former team. Harden's playing his former team. Harden's playing against the Knicks or the Nets, who he just got off of.
And Curry's playing against his former team, and Andre Drummond's playing against his former team, and there's a lot of things that are going to be happening. There's a lot of different storylines that they aren't making a big deal about. The only thing they're seeming to talk about is Ben Simmons, and really Ben Simmons hasn't played in over a year. So regardless to think that he's going to play that much of a factor on this game and that the Nets would let him would be an issue. But you're right. Ben Simmons is not playing. He's not, but he's still what everybody's talking about.
And he's all that they will talk about.
Yeah, he'll be over there, but they won't be talking about the matchup between Harden and Kyrie. And, KD basically taking shots at Harden during the All-Star break when they pick the teams. They're not going to be talking about that. And so,
Matt, listen, is Ben Simmons the new Carson Wentz? We'll be talking about him in a year. So here's the thing. The reason why we're still talking about Carson Wentz is because he had such an ugly breakup with the Eagles, goes to Indianapolis, and is failing miserably there. To the point of he's going to be the quarterback on JD's team in a couple of weeks.
Stop talking there. That's not happening.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, reports are coming out that Deshaun Watson is going to Pittsburgh to have a conversation with the boys, and they've been talking to Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is the guy. So, kick rocks. First
off, let's talk draft real quick. Malik Willis, no way falls that far in a let's pick our quarterback of the future as quick as possible. Where are your Steelers picking?
We're trading up, buddy.
Don't worry
about us.
For what? What do you guys have?
We have a lot of draft capital. We got some guys, some young guys too we can get rid of. We got enough linebackers to give somebody. Hell, y'all need a linebacker. We should trade a linebacker to y'all.
No, because we're taking Malik Willis because we're a quarterback factory.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot about that.
I actually saw a mock draft with the Eagles taking him. And I went, this shit again.
Here we go. It's going to be great. Let's go. Everybody,
Here we go with this shit again.
Circle the wagons because you guys are dumb at freaking picks.
We are. We just like to waste our picks.
Question.
But
Do
so
I have a
number
question
one.
for you? Real quick.
Well, hold on. So wait, hold on. Before we do it, number one, Carson Wentz is absolutely screwing the pooch where he's at. The reason why we're not going to still be talking about Ben Simmons in a year is because the Sixers have a better chance of winning a title than the Eagles do. So therefore, as soon as you get to that title situation, all of the love and loss along the way gets forgotten about.
Check your messenger, Chip.
I'm going to.
All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into this real quick. So the reason that they will be the only way they'll be talking about Ben Simmons next year is if Ben Simmons ends up winning a championship with the Nets. Now, if let's say that Ben Simmons wins the championship with the Nets and has a great playoff post run, and the Sixers can't put one together, dude, he will be the talk of the town. He will be the most hated player of all time in Philadelphia history. Previous player. So
agreed.
I'm gonna be real with it. I'm gonna be real with you. The only way that you're talking about Ben Simmons next season is if he wins the championship, which he could do. I mean, it's not without question. I mean, there are a lot of things.
He won't be the contributing factor of it, though. He's not going to play a ton this season because of his back. His back is so injured.
I think his back will be injured until next week.
I think March 11th he's going to be magically cured.
Yeah, he's going to drink from the holy well somewhere in outside Philly, and he'll be playing the next week, and it'll be no questions asked. And there's going to be everybody knows it, and that's what Chris sent me. Yeah, he's not going to play against his former team. Yes, we know he's going to sit on the bench. I still doubt that. I think he's too much of a punk ass to do even that. I do. I think Ben Simmons is the ultimate punk ass. This is a theory I have. Remember
I'm ready for it.
Remember when Michael Jordan had to retire, and they said that now the thing is like because he's involved in gambling, that his dad got killed, so that the league told him he had to retire, and he had to sit out. What if the league had somehow made some type of backroom deal with Ben Simmons because he made him look bad and he screwed him over and he's on some type of weird, you're suspended without being suspended? Because you're not really hearing the Nets talk about very much about being pissed off that he's not playing. Like it's almost like they've accepted that he can't play.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time they are, you don't necessarily have to hear too much of them. I mean they're currently 9th. I mean they're a game below 500. They're kind of doing what they need to do anyway. And being in that spot, I mean it kind of sets them up for where they need to go once the playoffs roll in.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is that maybe, just maybe, Ben Simmons is like enduring some type of suspension from the shit he pulled in Philly. And the commissioner saying, well, we're not letting you off that easy. Backroom dealings, you're going to have to sit out 5 games. Because at this point, it would be 5 to 10 games by the time March 10th will come around. Well, it'll be 5 games, actually.
I don't think that it's necessarily an impossibility. I just think that, like with the Michael Jordan thing, like, okay, there was the backroom deal and everything, and, his dad had died and the gambling and all that stuff. And he kind of stayed out of the spotlight for the most part. He went and played minor league baseball, and then he did Space Jam. Like, all those things happen, right? I don't necessarily know if your theory holds up because Ben Simmons is still going to practice every day, getting photos every day, getting photos of him holding his new back brace, the deluxe back brace 3000. I think it's a possibility, but at the same time, I think you're going to trade a James Harden. You're going to get these other key pieces that you need for your superstars. You expect your new superstar to play.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they ever thought, because they're not really mad. And you got 2 guys who normally speak their mind in Kyrie and KD. They're not even alluding to being upset that he's not playing. They're just happy to get him when they get him. So it makes me believe. But
they were also happy to get Kyrie when they got him every other game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that type of situation. And I think that that's good for Ben's mental. So you may get a guy that may say, you know what? Damn, like they sticking through me through thick and thin. Let's go play ball. and it could be March 11th.
Well, it's going to be March 11th. And I said that the day of the trade. We all circled March 10th and knew it wasn't going to happen. Knew it.
But we circled March 10th for a very different reason. Me and you have circled it because I made it very obvious to me what is the bigger story. The bigger story isn't Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons hasn't played in over a year. The bigger story is we are watching a nasty rivalry start with James Harden, Kyrie, and KD. Like
it's going to be ugly. That game is going to be ugly.
And I can't foresee unless say Curry cooks us. Let's say Curry gets hot and cooks his father-in-law. Or because those guys know the plays, they just know what to do.
But that ties back to my original point. Do they really know the plays? Because Doc Rivers doesn't have plays. Doc Rivers doesn't have an offense. He goes, here, take the ball.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it does. The offense, the team has looked different with James Harden, so it will look a little different. But I mean, like half-court sets and stuff where you're already kind of.
I'm more worried about an Andre Drummond roughing up a Joel Embiid a little bit.
I mean,
you're
right.
Go out and let him get his 5 fouls real quick.
I mean, listen, you don't, and you really don't. You still have Blake Griffin. You still got some guys who can play in the post and bang them up.
That's
keep throwing guys at
That's what I'm saying. That's a game where I think that they're going to be. It's going to me, kind of go back a little bit to like that old school, like Detroit Pistons mentality, where you just go up and beat up some people.
Because think about it, they want to go to the foul line. So it's not like they're gonna not go to the foul line. It's just hard fouls. I don't want them to foul Joel hard, but there needs to be somebody that has enough common sense to say, Joel, this is not the game to be flopping around and falling all crazy.
No, stay on your feet and do what you gotta do.
Yeah, get to the bucket, get to the cup, do your thing. But I am very interested in how this game goes down for sure.
I am too. Now, changing topics a little bit, LeBron James just dropped this past weekend an absolute monster game.
Right.
He dropped, and I like to share my screen a little bit here, so hold up. I'm only on one monitor tonight. He dropped a big ol' 56 spot.
Saw that.
He dropped himself a big ol' 56-point spot as they beat the Warriors. These same Warriors who are number 2 overall in the West. Lakers are number 9 at 28-35. My question is real simple. Can LeBron James, all by his lonesome, lead this team to the playoffs? I'm just going to play this while you go. Answer my question.
They're like a guy that can lead you to do anything. LeBron only plays
hold on, wait.
LeBron wants to play.
I'm just going to play that again.
No, don't play it again. Please don't. I can't. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. All right, you can stop it. It's a lot.
I can't. It's the box out for me.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack with LeBron. And
a lot to unpack. Go ahead.
LeBron has done this multiple times. We watched him leave games early. We watched him not shake hands with people. We watched him be a terrible sport when he's not winning. We all know LeBron is an elite talent. We all know he's an elite talent. But this is a shipwreck. And this shipwreck is going down faster than anything we've ever seen. Russ is a turnover machine. Carmelo,
it's bad.
Yeah, Carmelo is hit or miss, and a lot more miss than hit. There's just a lot. Anthony Davis has been out more games than he's played since
the
he's been a Laker.
injuries are severe, which I was actually really surprised that they did get rid of DeAndre Jordan. Because they needed the backup center for Dwight Howard, who was the backup center for Anthony Davis.
So this is where we're at now, Chip. So this is the answer to the answer to the question. No, I don't think LeBron can lead them to the playoffs. I think it is a great feat of what he's doing right now. I think it's historic what he's doing right now. But I don't think there's enough players on that team under the age of 40, or under the age of 35 that will contribute enough to get them to the playoffs. And that's just simple as that. What LeBron is doing is remarkable. But if I got nobody else to score and I'm shooting the ball as many times as he's shooting it, I should have about 60 points. Because
True.
I'm putting up at a high clip because nobody else can do anything.
And I think Javier's point is really good here. Like, yes, LeBron still went off for 56, and that's impressive. But you're not going to roll through the Suns, the Warriors, the Grizzlies. John Moran is on a different tip right now. You're not going to roll through the Jazz, the Mavs, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Clippers. Those are all the teams ahead of them.
Yeah.
There are teams, and look, they'll probably make the playoffs because you look at, 10 through 15, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, Spurs, Kings, Thunder, and Rockets. No one there is really that impressive.
Right.
So they'll probably make at least the play-in, but I think that's about as far as they go.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, we have to be real about this. Let's not be cynical. LeBron is a great talent. He's been a great talent. He is considered one of the top 3 best players ever to pick up a basketball. Without
Agreed.
question. This is the end of the road. This is the end of his career. We're watching it. We're watching his twilight years, and he's being wasted because he's with a team that cannot hold the jockstrap of the top 3 teams in the West. They just can't on a good or bad night. And not to mention, Nuggets are playing without, was it Murray and the other kid?
Without Jamal Murray, yeah.
I mean, they're not even at 100% strength, and they're still higher than than the Lakers. So let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. LeBron is in the twilight years. We're seeing greatness out of him still, but it's only a matter of time before Father Time comes to collect. It
already is. I mean, it already is. Look, he went off for 56, and that's great, but that is not something that he can do every night in and night out. I mean, even Joel Embiid, he's averaging 20, 25, 30, 35. Had 43 tonight, and that's great. As the Sixers won Monday record holds up strong. I go live on a Monday during a game. Big things happen.
For sure.
But even still, LeBron James cannot be expected to be that guy consistently for game in and game out. And right now, he is the only thing holding that team together.
True. I detect no lies.
I detect no lies. All right. I saw this question a couple times from Chris, and we're going to get into it, right? So there is the Major League Baseball lockout right now. Now, I want to have a conversation. I know you're not a huge baseball guy, right?
What's
that?
I used to be on a baseball show, so I can hold my own.
There you go. So you know a little bit about what's being negotiated, at least.
I know kind of the terms, what they're looking for. I don't know all the specifics, but I'm sure you can clue me in.
So basically what it comes down to is the owners and the players are arguing over money. That's what it is, which is what it always is. And you can say that it's, all of these things and, it's this salary and this percentage, this and the owners want more money. The players want more money. They're not willing to really meet in the middle. So what they're doing right now, and by the way, as I continue this, I'm telling you right now, I'm on the player side because they are the ones that actually drive the game. There are 23 of baseball's owners. And I think there's 30 Major League Baseball teams, 30 or 32. Wow. 23 of them are billionaires, multi-billionaires.
Big facts.
And the last I heard, they were haggling over the last $25,000 for the minimum level salary.
Wow, we're there now.
Or that's what they say. Or that's what they say they are. But what all they've done is they've kept going to the negotiating table and then walking away, going to the negotiating table, agreeing to something, and then walking away. So what they've agreed to so far are the following things. Ready for it? They have agreed. Hold on, and I have a little photo frame here. I have a little picture. I got to reshare the screen. So what Major League Baseball has agreed to at this current juncture, not the money thing. They're ignoring the money thing. They're just pushing it on down the road. What baseball has agreed to right this second is no more shifts. So when you have that hitter that can hit into one area consistently, you can't put a player there anymore if it's out of his position. There's going to be a pitch clock so that the game doesn't last as long. The physical bases are going to be larger.
Okay.
And there's going to be a universal DH.
What? Is there a reason why there'll be a...
Universal DH or the bases thing?
Yeah, that's something that sounds about right.
Well, the universal DH is because you have Major League Baseball and the American League plays with DH. The National League doesn't. So they are literally playing two different games of baseball within the same league.
Okay.
It was stupid and it needed to be fixed one way or another. And baseball purists are like, no more universal DH. Let the pitcher hit. I don't want to guarantee it out. Like, come on, like, just stop it. Stop it. The bases is for a variety of different things, but they're physically making the bases larger so that there's more room on them and they can slide into, like runners can slide in a better angle. They're solving every single issue except the one that's actually going to get baseball playing. The money.
That's the money.
It's the money. It's always been the money.
It's always the money.
And I don't know why they're negotiating everything else besides just the money situation.
I mean, let's think about it. The MLB is kind of like in the same. I always put them in the same category that I do, like NFL football.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the way that they treat the players, they just have kind of been, for lack of a better word, unresponsive to the things wanting to change because the old ways suit them better. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of just suits them a little better to not, it doesn't behoove them to do the right thing, so to speak.
Right. And Matt's saying, welcome to the world. And, Javier, I agree. We don't need Nola batting anyway, maybe Wheeler, and that's fine. Like, Shohei Ohtani still has the choice to bat as the DH. And he does that because he's a two-way hit. But again, they had to do it one way or another. You could not have the AL having one thing, the NL having another thing. What gets to me, and so when the news broke out on March 1st that it was officially going to miss some regular season games, I put up a poll. Okay?
Right.
I put up a poll.
Uh-huh.
And the poll basically asked, look, we've had sports, all the major sports have had strikes. Right?
Yes.
All the major sports have had strikes. Baseball's had a strike. Basketball, football have all had strikes. My question that I asked was, if a sport has to resort to a strike or a lockout, whatever you want to call it,
mm-hmm.
is it the failure of the commissioner who oversees the sport? Because the literal only job the commissioner has is to make sure that sport is being played.
I know, but that's really tough because there's a lot of different things that go into that. I don't think it's just as simple.
So let's go. Let's discuss it. Because you can see, I only had 67 people vote, but 76 to 23 said yes, he should be forced to resign.
That's tough though, man. Like, that's a real hard sell because there's still other factors that come into that. Like, if one or more parties is being selfish, like in this case, there's one or more parties that are being selfish. So if that's the case, that's not on him, especially if he brings them to the table to discuss it. That makes me even more like think where that I don't think that should be on the commissioner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think some things shouldn't be on him.
Except exactly what Matt says here, at least in baseball. The commissioner in baseball is appointed by the owners. He's in their pocket.
Well, not the same. I mean, he is being played by the owner, but the same thing with the commissioner of football. He's also in their pocket. So if to think that they would have to have a lockout because he couldn't get them to come to the table, if they sit down, he can't make them. It's like, I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't, because he's being paid by them. It's not like he's like Adam Silver. And I think Adam Silver would be more, held responsible because he's supposed to be the more of the thought process guy. Like, he's supposed to be the one ensuring that order is restored because they pay him to do that. And he sometimes is the last word. But
I hear what you're saying, but like, I look at it as, okay, so they go to the table, they can't agree on anything. They get up, they walk away from the table. And they get up and they walk away from the table over and over again to the point of now baseball, which is just 1 year removed from playing in empty stadiums because of COVID. Baseball, which has struck multiple times, is now not going to play again. And it's different than like with hockey. When hockey goes on strike, people are just like, fine, screw it, it's hockey. Baseball is allegedly America's pastime, right? And you have
Allegedly.
a stupid amount of money every year. And look, and Javier's saying here, right, with the money situation, we're always going to keep having lockouts every few years. The owners will keep getting richer. The players will want more of that money. And so I heard something, and it made a lot of sense to me, right? You can take the baseball owners, and we'll say 30, because I think the number is 30. I think there's 30 teams. And remove all 30 of those owners and replace them with 30 new businessmen. And the product wouldn't change. You cannot replace 1,500 baseball players with another version and have the same product.
That is fair. I think that's really cool situation there. I can buy that for $100.
You know what I mean? But like, so they get up, they walk away from the table. They get up, they walk away from the table. As the commissioner, you need to go, fine, you guys don't want to talk. We tried it this way. We tried it the peaceful way. I'm sending the whole case to an arbitrator, and whatever they decide, that's the situation.
But I don't know if he has that authority. That's the problem.
Then what's the point of even having a commissioner? If you can't produce the game, if you cannot make the game happen, then that's a useless position.
Well, we all know that's pretty useless. Like me and you know
for
that.
sure.
Like,
they're just a figurehead.
They're just a figurehead, and just like the NFL. Like Roger Goodell doesn't run shit. You know who's the commissioner of the NFL?
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Easy. We both said that without impunity because we know.
We know it.
He's running everything.
Jerry Jones and quickly Daniel Snyder.
Quigley.
Because that man has gotten away with every damn thing. And that's going to – I want to hold off too much on what Dan Snyder's gotten away with and then going into our final topic before we do some shenanigans. But Dan Snyder's gotten away with a whole damn lot. So just like you're saying, Adam Silver, whatever if there was a strike, I would be calling for his head.
You would, but that's why they don't have
Roger Goodell, same thing. How can Rob Manfred not get called to the carpet for this? Owners try to get a mediator. The players said no. Not saying they were wrong to say no, but the commissioner has no say. Then what's the point of having a commissioner? You are overseeing a sport that is not playing right now.
The thing about it is you can't call him to the carpet because he's not making a decision to not play. He knows that he's the commissioner of a league that's not playing, but it's nothing he can really do. Like he's saying, like regardless if it's the players or the team, or the players or the owners, he's not making a decision. He's just getting them there and saying, "Hey, you guys got to come up with a decision. You guys are going to take 15 days to figure it out. This is the situation." But the problem with that is because they work for him, because the commissioners work for the league and not an own government like. Adam Silver, like let's unpack this for a minute. Adam Silver hasn't had a lockout. David Stern had never really had lockout. But the reason why is because they know that their ass is on the line. They have real power. Like the commissioners of the NBA have real power. The players in the NBA have real power. It's not an owner-led league because honestly, the NBA realizes that without the players, they don't have a league. There's no product.
Right, and there's so few on each team that when you are a superstar, you really are a superstar.
Yeah. So
baseball, there's so many damn players that it's easy to lose them.
So check this out. I want to throw this out there for you. Imagine
I'm ready.
Somebody saying using LeBron James. And let's say LeBron James and Jeannie Buss are having a heated debate. Which they've been doing because she basically threw LeBron in the bus and said, "This is the team that you created." You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron, the GM, this isn't on Jeannie Buss. It isn't on Rob Pelinka because this is the team that LeBron wanted. So now all of a sudden, he wants to return it and keep the receipt. It's not how it works. This is the team you want, so now you stuck with it. Figure it out. And because that has been done that way, and Adam Silver knows that, he's not going to step his nose in that business and say, "Oh, yeah, LeBron can get out of his contract or LeBron can do whatever," because as much as LeBron is the product, LeBron is doing whatever he has to do. Like LeBron is going to do whatever, and because of that, it's put his team in a bad situation But that's kind of what LeBron does. He leaves his teams when he's finished with them in bad situations. The Cavaliers, the Heat, all the teams that he leaves, they're in shambles. And Adam Silver hasn't stepped in and said, you know what, we can't do that. The NBA did have a lockout, but that was during David Stern's time.
2011, it was David Stern, yes. And Adam Silver at that point was training to be the next commissioner, so he kind of saw how to navigate through it. So Matt, you are right.
Matt is right, but that time it didn't last the entire season either.
It lasted a while. That was they said the fourth longest lockout in NBA history.
Yeah, but look at what came from it. The CBA, everything.
161 days, yeah.
They've got the CBA out of it. Now look at the NBA. The NBA is a players' league. It is really a players' league. They have a CBA, collective bargaining agreement, which now they've added the WNBA into. Like, there's a lot of good things that have come from players-driven leagues because they're the product. Think about if they get the incentives, the owners are also going to get some incentives for them being good. So it's a league that scratches its own back. So the MLB, the NFL,
Major League Baseball had Derek Jeter as one of the main people of the Marlins. And with all of this going on, Derek Jeter just left them. He's like, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah. Because he was a player and he knows they're probably making good points. And he's probably like, I can't deny. Yeah,
that to me says more than almost anything.
Yeah, Derek Jeter's in there like, I'm not going to do these guys like this. I know what they're going through. Don't get me wrong. Some of these contracts are outlandish. Like
stupid. Just Bryce Harper's contract is ridiculous.
Like Bryce Harper should be ashamed of himself for taking that much money. But
Fernando Tatis, whatever Juan Soto is going to sign for, it's absurd.
It's absurd amounts of money. So regardless of that part of it, you still got to think about it from the other side. Like Derek Jeter had really big contracts himself. So he could probably say, you know what, like these were huge contracts back in the day. And, they may be a little bit, but you're paying the product. If these guys don't show up and play, there's nothing for people to come watch. You get mad that guys sit out games or they do, I don't know what they call it in baseball, but load management. These people come to see them. Like, and this is my biggest issue, and I'm going to be done with it, Chip. I'm going to get off my soapbox. If you think that the young kid whose parents work third shift and decide to get him tickets for his birthday are paying to see third and fourth strings because this load management crap that goes on in the NBA, some of the times the NFL, and I'm not sure about the MLB, and you think that they're going to pay for that product is ridiculous. There's already 50,000 games in the MLB. Like, there's so many games.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's even paying attention until October. So, let's be real. Like, it is what it is. I just think people need to realize that the MLB and the NFL are doing it very wrong, and they're finally getting called out on it. And it's going to be more lockouts. And there may eventually be an NFL lockout.
But the thing is with Major League Baseball is that and same would happen with the NFL and the NBA. If there's a lockout, if there's a strike, whatever it is, they would be able to come back from it. If you want to rank it, right, the NFL will never have a lockout simply because there is way too much money. The NBA, they have a lockout? Yes, but again, those players are going to make it come back. Baseball obviously is in a lockout. People are going to still watch it when it comes back because people love baseball. It was the first sport that came back after COVID. When hockey locks out or strikes, they lose a third of their fan base every damn time.
I don't know anybody that really watches.
That's why I stopped watching hockey when it struck for the first and then second time. I stopped watching hockey.
It's also okay. So this is also something to unpack too, like the popularity of the things. The Marlins were going through the process, and they were supposed to start the turnaround with signing players. They're evidently not doing it, and that's not what he signed on for.
All they did was trade their best player.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of times that is a major focus, but I also think it was about some of the money because he did play in the MLB. He knows the struggles that the players have. So to say that he's going to screw over players to make $1, I don't think he'd be willing to do that. I don't know the guy personally, but I would hope that's why he, more of what he's saying. I would love to say this. I would love to say that everything is equal. I would love to say that, people are doing the right thing by other people, but we all know that that's not true. And if I have to rank popularity in the United States by sport, I have to be honest. The number one sport in America is in the NFL. It is football. It's
100% internationally. I would say almost internationally. I mean, outside of soccer, internationally, football's right up there.
NBA is pretty international. I think that's the secondary international sport. In America, they're the second sport because football is so big. But internationally, they're the biggest sport outside of soccer, internationally, because they've had a bigger international footprint. Now, the acquisition of now, you're starting to see these games being played in London and starting to see these games being played in different countries. That's going to increase their footprint. But it's not going to overtake NBA because you got FIBA play. And FIBA play plays a huge role in them becoming international. So FIBA play has made the NBA very big. And it keeps a lot of eyes. And then you got players that transcend nation. Like you got the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordans, the Allen Iverson.
You got those one name guys.
Yeah. Allen
Kobe,
Iverson is one of those.
LeBron, AI, Yao.
Yep. Yao was a huge part of that. Now Luka and Ja,
Dirk.
now taking
you had those one name guys.
Yeah. So that's going to make a big deal. And so now these games are international. So now they're not just pulling revenue. Like baseball's not pulling revenue from international games. You know what I'm saying? They're not pulling it because they have another league that was playing during the pandemic, which was like Japan League or Japanese League or whatever they were playing.
People didn't care. They were watching it.
So
now like Bryce Harper is like joking about it. He's like, hey, you guys still up? I'd like to play some baseball this year. And that's true, Ted. NFL Europe did not last because they tried to take the players and make like a minor league system as opposed to what the NFL is doing now, which is taking their teams and playing games there.
And that is a big thing because what Ted is saying is very important that we know because it's not taking our talent and taking our lesser talent and putting them overseas, kind of like how they do it in like women's basketball or how we do in the NBA. And we just send all of our like lesser players overseas to play ball. Like if you're not good enough to make NBA, a lot of times you go play overseas. It's not that. You're taking your entire teams and you're deciding which teams are going to go play in the UK. Regardless if it be the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars or it's, Dallas and whoever. And before long, they're going to take major games and they're going to be played overseas. Like these marquee games are going to be played. And think about how cool it was to have a game at 8:00 in the morning.
It was cool. That was my very favorite day. It was football all damn day.
And it was good.
You know what? It was good football. And I think it was football worth betting on.
Oh, you're an asshole.
So for those of you who have been living under a rock this fine day, Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons, who, by the way, there was a strong conversation that Calvin Ridley would become an Eagle of this offseason. Well, that will not be happening, boys and girls, because Calvin Ridley just got suspended for a year for gambling on games. Not games he was playing in, by the way. He was not playing in those games. He was hurt. He was injured, whatever. It wasn't a ton of money. He's on his own rip saying like, hey, I'm basically innocent. I don't have a problem. Leave me alone. Calvin Ridley just got suspended for a whole season for gambling on his own team in games that he wasn't playing on. I'm going to come right to you. JD, is the punishment fit the crime?
No, because is it unethical? Yes.
Yes.
But was he changing the outcome of games with his play?
No.
So unethical, I mean, the scouting report on certain teams. I mean, you have a little bit more access. Like, who's playing and who's not playing. But those guys still got to lace them up. And they're not throwing the ball to you and you're dropping balls or affecting the outcome of the game.
You're not point shaving.
Yeah, you're not point shaving. So, no, I think it's too much. Because if you don't want people betting on the games, unless there's something in writing that says you cannot participate in sports betting whatsoever, then I don't think, especially since it's legal now. Like in the years of Pete Rose, point shaving.
Dude did it from his phone. He did it from his phone.
So I mean, at the end of the day, no, it's way too much.
And that's the thing for me. And again, and Javier said, look, this is exactly what Pete Rose has been fighting for this whole time. The Pete Rose situation is a little bit different because it was involving games that he was actively coaching in, so it's harder to prove that he wasn't doing the things. I am a huge advocate that Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I am a screaming advocate that Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I am a screaming advocate that the all-time Major League hits leader and the all-time Major League home runs leader both need to be in the Hall of Fame. I think it is moronic that you can attempt to write the story of baseball without two of its greatest players of all time. That being said,
you talking Mark McGwire and Sammy?
I'm talking Barry Bonds. Bonds needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Barry. Yeah, Barry needs to be. Barry and Mark McGwire, yes. Because
Barry, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Pete Rose all need to be in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Schilling needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens needs to be in the Hall of Fame. All these guys who wrote the story of baseball. You can have a separate steroid wing, but they still need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so let's just throw this out there. Think about how exciting baseball was back then. It took over a whole summer. Yeah, everybody was looking forward to the home run derby. And I'm not a baseball guy, but I knew who Mark McGwire was. I know who Mark McGwire. I knew who Sammy Sosa. I knew who Barry Bonds was. I know who Kurt Schilling was. Roger Clemens. I know who all these guys were. So to say that they're not in the MLB Hall of Fame and there's a bunch of guys I don't know who the hell they are, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really big situation. And also to think now sports betting is legal. If you don't want to make it legal, then it shouldn't be legal for everybody. Like, if you're going to make it legal, it has to be legal for everybody. As long as you're not actively playing in the game and changing the outcome. Or it's like almost like having insider information. Is it wrong to have insider trading information?
Sure.
Of course. And it's unethical. Will you go to jail for it? Probably.
It depends on how you do it. Look, there's all kinds of stuff like with stock markets and things like that, where if you have that insider information and you act upon it and you do those things, you make a certain amount of money. Yes, you go to jail. That's not what happened here. My man bet a total of $1,500 on a series of parlay bets. Lost, I think, $10 million or some crap like that. Like, he didn't even gamble well.
He was a shitty gambler. You should let him go back and make his money back at least.
And they are suspending him for the year. And now this is where I get on my soapbox. And you have guys
Talk to him.
who are sexually assaulting people. You have guys who are physically abusing people, beating the shit out of people. You have owners of teams who have skirted around the system, and all they've managed to do is get John Gruden fired for saying inappropriate words. And yet Calvin Ridley got one of the harshest punishments I have seen the NFL give out. Tom Brady got punished a couple of games for deflating physical footballs. Sean Payton got suspended for a year for having a pay for injuries system underneath of him.
Which is actually
Calvin Ridley,
not that big of a deal. Everybody has incentives, so I don't even think that was real either.
I know, they need to make an example of somebody. But Calvin Ridley gambled from his couch.
From his living room, where he wasn't able to play because he was injured.
And he was sitting out the season due to mental illness stuff like Ben Simmons. So now, on top of that, you're making him sit out another season and calling it to the crowd. I think that this is too harsh. I think he was stupid. I think the punishment does not fit the crime. I think there are worse crimes that are not getting punished.
Listen, man, let's be honest. Can we be real for a minute? For the
Please,
people, are you going to be real with us for a minute?
Let's be real.
Soapbox time. The NFL feels like they own the players.
They do.
And because they own the players, we're not going to let you do what you want to do. If you bet $1,500 and you lost, your
Javier's comments on point.
Yeah, if you lost all your money off a $15,000 bet, that's a terrible bet to make. But at the same time, it's not like he bet millions and millions of dollars and made such a crazy amount of money off games from having insider information. He wasn't going to practice. He probably didn't even know the playbook this year because he didn't play at all. What's the difference between him sports betting and a guy that was retired? Let's say he retired for a year, because that's basically what he did. He retired for last year.
So now he's all going to play for 2 seasons.
And he's laughing at them, and they're mad because he's making a joke. But at the end of the day, like, this is preposterous. It's asinine as hell to think that this guy's gonna miss out on more millions of dollars of money because he was sports betting on his couch while he was probably drinking. Was it Ovaltine? Because people love Ovaltine. He's probably sitting on his couch drinking Ovaltine mixed with mimosa juice or something. I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I will never get it. But this is another time where they are using their power for evil instead of good. And he's a shitty better, by the way.
He's a terrible better. We all have really good sports gambling sites. Javier, I'm sure he can appeal. This just all came out today. Where I think you're going to see some of the problems, like with some of these other things, at least the teams in your corner, like, oh, we can turn this around, we can do this. I think the Atlanta Falcons, having been burned by him not playing, I think that they're going to get to a point where they're not in his corner, so it's really going to be Calvin Ridley versus the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, he's taken okay, so, and this is the thing. Let's say, and because the Atlanta Falcons won't stand up for him because they don't think he's that valuable because they haven't had him.
And they know he's already 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, he wants to be traded anyway. So, I mean, it's no different than probably the Deshaun Watson situation. You think the Deshaun Watson's camp and the Texans are like, oh, yeah, we got to hurry and get this guy back out here. They don't give a shit. They're like, if he makes it and he gets through it and he wants to come back and play, cool. If he doesn't, then good riddance. His whole thing's screwed up. And he doesn't affect us in a negative way. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Calvin Ridley's a dumbass, but at the same time, I don't think he should be getting a book thrown at him. I think maybe a good 4-game suspension or something. The Atlanta Falcons suck anyway, so, I mean, it's not going to matter. But 4 games, I think
they're not going to be good.
Yeah, I think 4 games will be all right. I would have been all right with 4 games. I think that's acceptable.
We've been going for a while. Let's do a couple shenanigans real quick. This first one isn't really a shenanigan. I feel a type of way about this. So I'm going to zoom in on this because no one can see this at all. Holy crap. Hang on.
I can see it.
Okay. So what I'm looking at right here is ranking the best rivalries in sports all time. And I pulled this about a week ago. Right? I pulled this about a week ago. So we got Duke and UNC is number. Turn the overlay off. Good call. Hang on. Bam. All right. You got Duke versus UNC is number 1. You got Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Yankees, Red Sox, Army, Navy, Fraser, LA, Ohio State, Michigan, Bears, Packers, Lakers, Celtics, United versus City, Chamberlain versus Russell. So now we're going individual. Auburn, Alabama, Federer, Nadal, Cardinals versus the Cubs, Canadians, Bruins, Palmer, Nicholas, Giants versus Dodgers. How you going to tell me, and you can be my outside guy here,
all right,
that Eagles, Cowboys is not on this list?
They should be. They should be. But I mean, those are pretty good rivalries, though, man. Like, those aren't like poop butts. Like, those are good ones.
Cardinals and Cubs?
I mean, you got to think about it. This isn't just regional, too. Like, some of this is like, who wrote it? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, like United versus City. Like, obviously, we're talking, soccer things, which I don't really have. Like, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, I get. Yeah, Penn State, Ohio State has got to be on this list somewhere.
It is. No, Penn State, Ohio State, no.
Ohio State, Michigan is on here.
That's way bigger than Penn State, though. Like that,
I agree. But how can you not have Philadelphia and Dallas?
There's no. I mean, because I think they tried to hit everyone except for the NFL. It's not like, well, Bears and Packers is on there. That's a really nasty one too, though.
That is a nasty one.
Nasty. I think if you had 20 spots, I think the Cowboys and Eagles make it. I think you do. I mean, I don't know, guys.
So Matt, I see your comment here, Ravens Steelers. I think that's way too new of a rivalry to make this list.
Let's go.
Right? You can even say Eagles Giants. Maddie's chiming in.
Okay. What about, like, look at what Ted's saying. The rivalry is more important to Philly than it is to the Cowboys and the rest of the NFL. That's it. That's basically what it boils down to. The Eagles and Cowboys fans think it's a huge rivalry, and it's a huge rivalry to them, but nobody likes the Cowboys enough to think that it counts that much. In that rivalry, in the Cowboys rivalries with every damn body, to be honest, nobody wants to know them. The only team that people hate more than them is the damn Patriots, and that's because they actually win since this decade started. Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I can see why they didn't put that on there.
Yet, and Matt's saying here, yet the NFL makes it a primetime game every year, even when we're all playing our backups. I'm just saying. Speaking of the Eagles, shenanigan number 2. Here's a potential trade. What do you think? Andre Dillard and Gardner Minshew and the 2022 first-round pick and a 2022 first-round pick and a 2023 first-round pick for Deshaun Watson.
I do the deal.
No!
Yeah. Because even if Deshaun Watson doesn't play a minute of football, you're in no worse shape because you got rid of Gardner Minshew.
And 2 first-round picks this season, which you're supposed to use to rebuild your team.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the Eagles are not a quarterback away. There are 21 other positions that have to be filled. This is ridiculous.
Wait a minute before we do that. Wait a minute. All right. If you think about this Deshaun Watson, the year before he got involved with all this misogyny. Yeah. All right. So before he got involved with all this, even before he did all this, he took a team to the playoffs that was stinky after they got rid of his damn receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like he did it without DeAndre Hopkins. So think about what he might be able to do in Philadelphia with a decent running. Well, got a decent running back, a couple decent running backs, a couple decent receivers, and a young stud that is a possession receiver, kind of similar to what he had in Deshaun, and similar to what he had in DeAndre Hopkins. From the mouths of children. I hear what you're saying. I know that people are paying attention to the quarterbacks, but they're clearly not happy with Jalen Hurts. So it'll be until they get somebody like a Deshaun Watson, who they believe will be a generational talent. They're going to continue to keep going for a quarterback. And look, I do not agree. I do agree that Jalen Hurts did not do anything. Did not do anything to secure the starting quarterback position next year. He didn't do anything to lose it. But every single question that I had going into last season, I still have going into this season. I do not think that Jalen Hurts long-term is the answer. However, the Philadelphia Eagles are not a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. Well, maybe it's to mortgage your entire draft for one player who may not ever play another minute of NFL football again is absolutely stupid. Okay, so let's say this trade is true. The only way they make this trade is if they know Deshaun Watson is going to play. Correct. So, and then in that case, you still have Jalen Hurts, who would also be trade collateral. If you need to trade, like let's say Deshaun Watson is available to play, then you can use Jalen Hurts to trade to another team to gain some assets that you would have already had. Like, I think that Howie's a lot smarter than we give him credit for it, and as we've shown in the last couple of years. He had a really good season this season. I will give Howie Roseman. Look, I'll be the first to trash him, but Howie Roseman had a really good season this season. And I think that at the end of the day, if this trade is being made, this isn't the only trade to being made. Like, kind of like the Daryl Moore situation. We all wanted him to make the more safer trade, but because he waited and get the bigger trade, it might be this. This might be the bigger trade. And this might be like an Eagles and Sixers situation where you get a generational talent in James Harden and you get a generational talent in Deshaun Watson, and it makes all the damn difference. So, because you know what's not going to happen if they get Deshaun Watson? You're not going to have people saying, "Oh, he don't have the arm strength. Oh, he doesn't have." True. You won't. And everybody that I watch at the combine all have better arm strength than Jalen Hurts. All the questions that I had going into last season, I still have right now after watching an entire season of Jalen Hurts. And I think that that's fair. I mean, I'm a Jalen Hurts supporter, so I will be. I want him to do well. I really do. I want him to do well. I think most Eagles fans that look at the game prospectively want him to do well because you could use this draft to go out and draft like other positions. And do I think you're a quarterback away? No, but I think you're a good quarterback away. A really good questions answered quarterback away. Can he win in the playoffs? Can he get to the playoffs? Is he a generational talent? I think Deshaun Watson answers all those questions. And plus, he's got less miles because he hasn't played a whole year. He's been just chilling and getting bigger and stronger and faster, I'm assuming. So if all things are being considered, I think that the Eagles could stand to maybe hear this trade out. And what's called Matt here is saying I take everything at the combine with a grain of salt.
I agree with that too.
Except for Jordan Davis running a 4.7 and being 6'6" and 390 something fucking pounds. Imagine him coming after you.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Exactly.
All right.
And this is why those guys are getting hurt now, Chip. Because they got guys that can move just as fast as they can, and they're twice their size.
Yeah, it's some scary stuff. All right, some true shenanigans. So, this first one is your zip code is your starting 5.
Let me write mine out real quick.
Now,
can I use
one
my
thing
current
says
zip code?
Whatever you want. So your player can be used more than once.
Okay.
So I want to go my starting 5 versus your starting 5.
All right. Hold on. Let me get me a pen.
So
write it down.
So mine at 19446 gives me LeBron James, Devin Booker, 2 James Hardens, and a Giannis.
Okay, so mine will be.
If you can't see it, just give me your numbers and I'll tell you who you got.
No, I got them writing it down, so make sure I don't sound like an idiot. And I got a pretty good team, baby. All right,
Matt's got 3 LeBrons, a Curry, and a Luka. Ain't nobody passing on your team.
No, not even to themselves. So I got LeBron because mine is 19056. So I have LeBron, Booker, Luka, Kawhi, and Giannis. That's a good team, buddy.
Yours is probably better than mine because the 2 James Hardens means defense is questionable.
True. I don't have Luka can't guard a parked car, but the rest of my guys can. So we got a pretty good situation. I'll take mine.
Ted, you get LeBron, Devin Booker, Luka.
You get James Harden.
You get Harden
instead of Giannis. For mine.
Javier gets 2 Durants, 2 Hardens, and a Curry. Well, you're definitely getting some fist fights.
You'd be all right. You got 2 Durants, so they both can defend, but you can't.
No, but 2 Durants and 2 Hardens.
Oh yeah. They're definitely
getting. You getting fist fights.
But you might be straight with the 2. Well, Curry and Harden will give you a problem on the defensive end, so you might not be able to defend anybody.
And you know what? Yeah. I would say you don't have anybody rebounding, but with those guys shooting, you don't need rebounders.
Yeah, they're very efficient. That's a pretty good combination.
I don't know. I definitely think that yours might be the best. Mine the 2 James Hardens kill me.
I got 2 bigs, basically 3 bigs, really 4 bigs. Actually, I got a pretty good team, dude. I got a point guard. Ooh, there we go.
Build a lineup with $25. That's it. You get $25.
That's easy.
Go. Spend your monies.
5 times 5 is 25, right?
Correct.
This is easy.
That's stupid then.
Exactly. I can just go
because you just go right down column. You got right down column 1, unless you get multiple. Like you did. Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's pretty easy, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the GOAT. The GOAT. I'm gonna take, but I will mix it up. I'm gonna take Adrian Peterson as my running back. I'm going to take Jerry Rice as my 1 wide receiver. My second wide receiver, I'm going to take Randy Moss. And for my tight end, I know this is not going to be what everybody wants it to be, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take Greg Olsen as my tight end. I like Greg Olsen. I really like Greg Olsen, and he's a great person. So
I mean, all right, I got to go Tom Brady because you have to go Tom Brady.
Goat Braid.
You got to go Barry Sanders out of this list, no question. So I'm just totally ignoring at this point the money because I goofed that part up. I fudged up, guys. You go Jerry Rice.
What was the original number?
I think it was 15, maybe 20.
You put a 5.
I didn't do. I pulled this off the internet. You go Randy Moss, and I would actually. This is the part that's not going to be popular. I'm going to take Jason Witten, one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Only reason why I hated him was because he was a Cowboy.
I was going to take Jason Witten, but my better judgment wouldn't let me.
All right, so this one, last couple more shenanigans, right? So ignore the likes. We'll do your phone number, right? So the second to last digit of your phone number is your quarterback, and the last digit of your phone number is your wide receiver. Throwing up a Hail Mary, do you survive?
So the second to last digit
The
of my
second
phone
to
number
last digit of your phone number is your QB.
Damn it. And my wide receiver is the last digit
of your phone number. So like for me, I'm 6'8". So I have James Harden throwing a Hail Mary to Adam Sandler. I die.
You definitely die. I might live though, because I got mine is 6'2". So I have James Harden and Antetokounmpo, which is
you
good.
win all day.
He is 7 foot tall. Somebody would end up getting damn Kanye West though. That would be shitty. 7 on the QBs is Flight Reacts. Oh, that's the guy.
He's a YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber.
Ooh, Javier pulled Herbert to Cup. Come on now.
I don't know. Cooper Kupp's not that tall though.
But he catches everything. Mikey at 7-0. You get YouTube guy to Pete Davidson. You're gone.
You're dead immediately.
You're super gone. Like you don't even find the football field gone.
You're double dead. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, double dead.
You're DED dead.
You're dead on arrival. DOA.
Okay. This one, the money works, and this is the last one we'll do.
All right. Cool.
Build your lineup. You only have $15.
See, this makes more damn sense than the one you put up before.
I just found things. You only get $15.
Ah, this is rough. You really tried to really stifle me.
This one is tough. But you got to fill it up with 15. You got to fill it up with 15.
The fact that you didn't notice what I just said is
I did because I said you got to fill it up with 15.
Oh.
No, Ben is not worth $5, and that's in real money, Matt. It's tough.
I mean, I pretty much got it figured out. I just gotta.
What you got? What you got? Tell me your team.
Damn it! I would take. Then I gotta get some buns to finish it off with. Who is this guy on the first row? Oh, this is easy. Okay, I got it. All right. So I'm gonna go Joel and Curry. I think
those are my first two as well. So we're right there at the same place.
And then I'm going to take for $3. I'm going to take Collins because Collins can jump out the gym to protect the rim, right? And
all right, so now you're at $13.
And then I'm gonna go to the $1 guys. That's what I do. Is I like to get
the bargain bin.
Yeah, I'm gonna get another guy who's an agitator and Pat Beverly, and I'll take a veteran. And who's the third guy in the middle on the first number $1?
Dude on the Cavs, he's number like 16 or 14. I can't remember his name, but he's decent.
I'm going to take Blake Griffin.
Yeah. So it's funny. We have almost identical teams. The only difference that I have is I'm taking Brandon Ingram instead of Collins.
True. I struggle with that one, but I know
because he's a stretch player, and I think Collins is going to set up more in the key. Whereas Blake Griffin, if you have Collins and Blake Griffin, you're not spreading the floor out a lot.
True. But Blake can shoot threes, though.
True, but so can Ingram.
You're right. Damn it. That's tough. But did you get Pat Bev?
Yeah, of course I'm taking Pat Bev.
Damn it. I want Pat Bev on the Sixers.
I've always he is a little pain in the ass, but he's a good pain in the ass.
Yeah, he'd be yours. Like he would belong to you.
He'd be my pain in the ass. Look, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I've been sitting on this couch without any back support. My house is in shambles. And listen, I appreciate you. You know all the sponsors. They're all in the links. I'm not going over them again. I'm not even playing the commercial tonight. I don't feel like it. Just remember,
your balls will thank you.
Make sure you check out on YouTube. We started airing our first episode of Fandemonium, where we talk to Eagles fans about why they love the team.
Yeah, my boy Chris Maley was your first guest, right?
We just had Chris Maley, right? We just interviewed this past weekend Chris Romanelli, and he's got some really cool stories about being an Eagles season ticket holder. We got Jeff Warren coming up from the Philadelphia Sports Talk podcast. I mean, we got a lot of really, really cool guys coming up, and that's a YouTube exclusive, so make sure you're checking that on out. What is happening up there in D-Drippy land?
Well, I'm in South Carolina, as everybody knows, so a lot of my shows aren't happening this week, due to like family stuff. So I'll be gone probably till next week. This is the one show I wanted to get on and jump on. I'll be back in town maybe Wednesday. So hopefully, maybe we'll get straight shooting going this week and whatnot. But if not, then we'll just take a week off and we'll start you guys back fresh next Monday. I'm hoping everybody's having a good week. I know there's been a lot of people like dealing with loss lately. So for those of people who are dealing with that, man, I'm praying for you guys. I'm hoping everybody's getting along just fine. And that's about it. And just everybody take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Love each other if you can. We're more alike than we are different. So
that's true.
That was it. That's all I got.
It do be facts though. With that being said, I'm gonna cut it. I'm not even gonna play the commercial tonight. I'm gonna cut it. Bye, y'all. Have a great night.